Hello and welcome back to the Mid Am Podcast. We are your hosts. My name's Tyler Munns, and on the other side of the screen for me is my good friend Nathan Furamasu.
Hit me. Hello.
Tonight we're doing Q&A. Answering questions, not quite Q&A. It's not.
Yeah, we're not
it's
taking
not
your
live
cues
like that.
now.
You know,
Yeah.
we've taken cues. Cues have been taken. Cues
Yeah.
have been took.
We're going to be
A's will be
A's like
given.
normal. Yeah.
But before we start just dishing out the A's, I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of the Mid-Am Podcast, the fine folks at Adele.
Hello.
Nathan, I was going down memory lane a little bit from last year. As you know, and if anyone who follows me on Instagram, big fan of Golf Metrics, Mark Brody's app, strokes gained and whatnot. Love the data. I was looking at my last 9 rounds from 2023 when I was like playing peak golf, right? My lowest handicap, and comparing it to my last 9 rounds this year so far. And I just wanted to share a couple little points of data. Number one, my strokes gained approach handicap has gone from a 3 to a +1. And my strokes gain short game, which I argue is not a good part of my game, but it's getting better. My strokes gain short game handicap has gone from a 7 in 2023 down to a 3. Now,
Whoa.
I'd ask anyone to identify what is the difference between peak 2023 for Tyler and the last 9 rounds for Tyler.
Curious. I think it's because you got that yummy yum.
Yeah, that's right. The SMS Pro and SMS irons and wedges, the yummy yum. I can't say enough good things about them. And people ask me a lot when I post, and anyone that and it's a good question to ask. You want to know what people's like true opinions are.
Yeah.
So when I post about something and I say, this is very cool, this is very rad, I really like it, I get a bunch of DMs saying like, is this cool or is this like social media cool? And that's a great question to ask. I try, and I will say, personally, and I know for the show, like, we are truthful. We don't say anything because someone's asking us to say something. And that was something that we said first meeting we had with Adele.
Hello.
Was that we would be truthful in everything that we do, and we're only going to play equipment that's going to make us better, because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. And so when I say like, these Adele irons are the best irons I've ever played, they are making me a better player, they are saving me shots, like, I'm not blowing smoke because someone's telling me to. Like, that is the truth. And if it weren't the truth, I wouldn't be using them, much less saying it. So
right,
that's all to say. Like, the irons and wedges are no joke. They are incredible. And I cannot recommend, that you out there listening, I can't recommend enough that you go and try them. So,
I think one thing that might speak volumes for people is that, like, you and I have, it's not like they're the only clubs we have either. It's not like Adele sent us these irons and wedges and this is what we're playing because it's what we got. Like, I still have a set of Mizunos that I've had forever that I love dearly. They have spent nights in bed with me before. like they're not going anywhere. I still have them. I've got a set of scratch irons, like really, really high quality forged clubs. And I'm playing the Adeles. So let that say whatever it's going to say.
I care about playing well. I care about low scores.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I thought for a second that something else was going to be able to make that happen for me, I would be playing something else. And I'm not. And as someone who loves equipment, I have tried everything. I have hit everything that you can think of. And these irons are like, inspire confidence in me in a way that no other irons that I've played. And I'm looking at like 6 sets of irons to my left, that I've all liked and they're great. I do
Yeah.
like. I'm not saying they're bad. They're not bad. They're great.
No.
But like these irons are and wedges too are phenomenal. So I would suggest you fine folks listening, take a gamble on the 7 iron demo club program that
Oh
Adele
yeah.
has.
Yeah.
It's fairly inexpensive. Um, you just buy one and then and maybe go in with it with a buddy or two. You get to try it for a little bit, ship it to your friend, um, and just try them out. I really think and play around with the weights. I really think that you will be pleasantly surprised and at the level of craftsmanship, the quality of the materials that they use, how it looks, how it feels, how it sounds, specifically how it sounds.
Hmm.
Just really really solid product. So you can find out more about all of the great things that Adele makes at adelgolf.com. That's EDELGOLF.com. And yeah, thanks again to the team at Adele for sponsoring the show.
Yep.
All right, let's jump into the A's, man.
Let's go.
Well, let's jump into the Q's, and then we'll get to the A's.
Fair enough.
First one I wanted to look at was Mark Golf's M4RK Golf's asked if I've ever had the tops of the driver. No, I'm an incredible driver of the golf ball. I've never hit a wayward drive in my entire life, so
There you go.
can't relate.
I have not had the tops with the driver. I've got the lefts. So
Yeah, we've all had
that's
the
been my
lefts.
issue. I will say this, if you're looking for advice, look at if you're topping it, you're either too steep or coming up too much on the angle. Your angle
Which
of
means
attack
probably
is the
too
issue.
steep. You're
Your angle
probably
of-
too steep.
Yeah, your angle of attack is the issue. Either you're coming down over the top of it, or you're swinging and you're bottoming out too soon and kind of like taking off over the ball.
I will say the
But
reason you're doing that is because
yeah,
you are hitting
you're
down
too
on it.
steep. Yeah,
Hit up on it.
yeah,
Try to hit up on it, and
yeah.
and
Or
that
I
should
would say
fix it.
find some drills or something like that that's gonna tell you like something along the verbiage of like controlling the radius of your arc or getting kind of like wide or something through impact that'll shallow out your angle of attack. Not up at the top, not getting Scooby, which is all cool,
No.
but shallow at the bottom where it matters. So not as much fluctuation then. So check it out. But no, we've not had the tops.
No, we don't get the tops. Tom Funds It asked, what is a routine or strategy you deploy to stay positive during your golf round?
Yeah, that's a good one. What do you got, Tyler?
Okay,
Aggressive
so
positivity.
yes, and no. So my my approach. So aggressive positivity is for after the round and for
Gotcha.
everything in between the round to not
Okay.
get whiny and petulant, because that's my tendency. I am very good at that. I'm a scratch whiner, but
Plus,
easily, dude.
Plus.
Mini tour.
Yeah.
I would say what I really have been trying to focus on, because I know I can't stay positive during, like, that is an impossible task for me, is to stay positive during a round. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Not 100% of the time. I can do it a little bit, but like first sign of adversity, I'm going to get whiny. I know that. So I think for me, it is much easier to try to remain neutral rather than try to think about being positive, because that is just a step too far for me in my brain. I can attain neutrality, positive and, ups and downs. That is something I know I can do. And so like, I try to remain neutral. I don't even think about being positive because that's too hard for me.
Yeah.
And so I would say if you also struggle with remaining positive, maybe you're asking too much of yourself. And just try to aim for neutrality, even, like ups and downs. Like today I was played really well. We didn't flush it, but I scored well. I hit like what was the greatest 4-iron of my entire life today. I never struck a 4-iron that well, and it was a really good shot. It was a dart on a long par 3. And like, I purposefully was like, all right, cool. You did,
Great.
you did your thing. You aimed where you wanted to aim. You you went through your whole process and the result was favorable. That's great. But like, there's no reason to get all jacked up because
Mm-hmm.
it's, whatever, the seventh hole. So like, cool, let's go down there and try to make a putt. And, that like, I think it conserves energy. And then B, like the crash, when
Yeah.
something else
Yeah.
happens, like that dichotomy is like so much like it's tightened up. So like, it's just not as much of a roller coaster for me.
Yes. We call
So
that emotive distance in the writing world, where basically you build something up one end of the spectrum and then you kill Bambi's mom or something. It's like the
wait,
it
what?
feels bigger because you are coming from a different place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um sorry, I have a degree in English. I don't know if I ever
Oh
mentioned
man,
that.
so does
But
my wife.
yeah, cool. Yeah, my thoughts on that were um things that I feel like help me. I'm a big picture guy.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, okay, that was a bummer, but I tend to try and zoom out like, 30,000 foot flyover kind of thing. And that usually kind of brings me back, or, refocuses me on like what my goals are, or what I need to do on the next shot. Like, what's the important thing? How do we get past this? So on and so forth. I think kind of zooming out helps. Um, I think appropriate on course goals is a good thing. Like, set yourself up for success to
Yeah.
stay more neutral, stay more positive, not be so. Don't like have wild goals, like scoring goals or expectations that just are you're setting yourself up to get pissed, right? Or
Yeah.
like just to get negative and down in the doldrums or whatever. Um, and I like what you said though about like, is it even possible? Because like I don't know that I'd really thought of that before, but like it's not. We're humans. Humans have emotions. Emotions change.
and
I think.
and
Go
and
ahead.
the negative emotions, we are much more, for what, like, evolutionarily speaking, we are much
Sure.
more tuned into those negative emotions, because the negative emotions are the ones that kept us alive when like animals were trying to eat us. And so you have to recognize that, like, it's like the sting of losing always is way worse than the joy of winning. Well, it's because like we as a species have evolved to like tune into those negative emotions, because that's what's going to keep us alive. We don't
Mm,
have to worry about that anymore for the most
yeah.
part. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that where we live. First world, you
Well,
know, we're grateful.
you're in Portland,
Uh,
so.
that's true. What? It's a
I would,
firework.
but I was gonna follow up with, like, so yeah, I don't think you can't control that. You can't stay positive, and to
Mm-mm.
try is just like super trite. And I'm not trying to come down on whoever this questioner was or anything like that, but like it feels very cheap. It's like, oh, just be positive. That's not a real answer. That's not an answer from like a fully rounded human
No,
being.
you can't
But
stay positive after
yeah,
like chunking one into the water. Like, you
no, you're
can't, like,
gonna
that's
be.
that's fake.
Yeah. But what you can do is recognize that emotions are fleeting. They do pass, and they don't necessarily carry meaning with them unless you want them to. And that's a much bigger discussion for another podcast
Yeah, that's
or
that's
something.
that's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
No free therapy.
Yes. Because
It's
we're
a
not
great time to
therapists. We're
introduce
not
our
professionals.
the
Don't listen to my
the
opinion.
next sponsor of our show, BetterHelp. No, not really.
Better.
Um,
Okay. So
yeah,
yeah, don't stay positive.
just
Stay
neutral.
neutral, dynamic,
Don't try
and
to. Yeah, I guess our
and
the crux of it is, don't try to stay positive. Positivity is a myth. Just stay
yeah,
neutral, man. Like,
just
and you can get excited about good shots. There's nothing wrong with
absolutely,
that. Like, that's
absolutely.
great. Like, if don't not get excited. That would be a bummer.
I
Then
feel
golf's
like
no fun.
that's one of those things that's like maybe an underrated thing that I haven't heard about like Tiger before. People are always like, "Oh, you know why Tiger was the best? It's because of this or this." That dude could fist pump like and tear his rotator cuff because he fist pumped so hard and come back on the next hole and just
Just
like
be locked in.
zoom, and then just pound one down the middle. Like that kind of stuff that's hard.
And I think like the misconception of that, or misperception, one of those two, maybe both,
Yes, both.
is that he was riding a momentum and he was still amped up when he hit that drive, and that
Yeah,
couldn't be
no, I don't
farther
think
from the
so.
truth.
Yeah.
He brought his heart rate down as much as he could. Like, he was in a completely different place mentally on the tee than he was 45 seconds earlier, fist pumping
Yeah,
on the green. Like,
that's
and
wild.
I think that, like, a lot of people, myself included, think of momentum as this thing that has to you have to keep building it, and you can't. Like, you cannot sustain momentum for more than a few minutes. Like, your body can't handle it, your brain can't handle it. There's just too many moving parts, and so it's like recentering and kind of restarting the cycle every single shot. That's
Yeah,
what is gonna, like, help you play better golf, and that's where neutrality comes in. Like, you have to get back to neutral, whether it's bad or good.
yeah, yeah. You can't just keep stoking the fire.
And
Cool.
that's not what the best players in the world do.
No.
All right, hitting greens, homie, in Las Vegas. When you know you can play good golf but aren't, how do you deal with it
Mm.
mentally? I
Mm.
take to Instagram and I whine about it mid round.
So you need an outlet,
Yeah,
essentially. I think
yeah,
a lot of, I was reading that one, and I think a lot of, honestly, probably a lot of the same stuff we just said, but maybe blow it out to like around your actual round on the course, the before and after, the time in between on your practice and things like that.
yeah,
Like striving for those things with like neutrality and understanding, like ebb and flow of emotion, ebb and flow of golf performance. Some things are just out of your control. Like you kind of have to live in that place.
yeah. I think, like, having a neutral mindset will help you cope with the days when you're off, because, like, they're just days. Like, the golf swing is so complicated. It's so based on timing. No matter what you do, no matter what swing system you subscribe to, like, it is all timing. And if you are off by a millisecond,
Mm-hmm.
like, things aren't gonna go as well as you had hoped. And so, like, there are days that it's just going to be off and there's kind of nothing you can do about it. And you just have to know that, like, oh, today is not a good day. I think, like, going back to your point earlier, was like setting realistic goals. Like, a part of that is like being able to adjust those goals in real time on the fly and say, like, whoa, don't have it today. Swing's not feeling good. Not really finding the bottom of the swing, not finding the center of the face. Like, I am struggling. Okay, what can I do? What can I do? Because I'm not striking the ball super well. So I can't, like, I'm like, not saying that your low numbers out the window, but let's just say, like, hey, you know what? Not really playing to shoot a major score now. Like, what am I going to feel good about knowing that I just don't have it today? And a lot of times, if you can kind of, like, calm your brain down, at least I've found, if you can calm your brain down and focus on that, like, you might actually end up finding it. Like, the timing,
Yeah.
if you can kind of calm everything down, like, your body can kind of figure out what's going on and get into the right rhythm.
Yeah.
But you can't do that if you're, like, all, like, you know, amped
Yeah.
up and tight as a ball because, like, things aren't going, the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah. Um, to that point, that reminds me of this time I went to the Portland Classic,
Hmm.
and that was a really cool event. Not was, it's, they don't call it that anymore, but it's still a really cool event. If you have a chance to go to an LPGA event, by all means do it, because one, you can get way closer to the players and see like really good golf, like
And they're
really
not
close.
douchebags.
Yeah, that's right. And they're phenomenal. But one time it was at Columbia Edgewater, and there was this, I don't remember what hole it is. It's a par three over water. I think it's, I don't remember if it's on the front or the back, because when I've played it, the nines were switched, or when they played it, the nines were switched. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Um, and at the time, I had been kind of following a couple of groups around that had some players in it that I knew the names of and kind of was familiar with their careers or whatever. So one of them's Christy Kerr, And I remember she was on the cut
Legend.
line, like, yeah, a, a stalwart of, LPGA golf for a long time. And she was on the cut line and coming down, I don't even know, maybe a third of the way through her round or something. And I remember standing on this tee box watching a couple of groups come through, and I had seen her scores, and she was coming in, and I heard her just kind of like the tail end of a conversation with her and her caddy, and she was obviously miffed and
Yeah.
like kind of heated, and was like, listen, if that's what we have to do today, then that's what we have to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what she was talking about. She's like, look, I don't have it. So on this par three, like, I'm not looking to do anything special here. I'm going to chip it basically, like I'm going to
Yeah.
do something well within my control. It's not the ideal shot. It's not the appropriate one, but it's what I can do. And it's what's going to yield the best, result statistically, reliably, whatever. So, that's a, a professional tactic
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And I think like, yeah, again, another one is not trying to back, get it all back, or get anything back.
Yeah.
Like the concept of like, oh, let me get one back is like, that doesn't,
It's
it's
gone.
gone. It's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it. So like, let's make the smart decisions going forward. So like, for instance, today I had a game plan on, there's 2 par 3s at Eastmoreland that are like over water, like really over water. And I was like, you know what? Like the last 2 times I've played par 3s where they were really over water, I put them both in the water, chunked them both in the water. So I was like, you know what? Like even before the round, last night I was like, I'm playing to the back of the green on both these holes. Not the ideal play. Like it's not, the ball's not going to be close, and it's not going to be necessarily an easy par. But it's, par is possible. What it isn't going to be is like a grind for bogey.
Yeah.
And so, I did that both times, and I parred one of them, and I barely missed a 6-foot putt to par the second one. And like, that was me kind of just like saying like, whoa, dude, this is not a hole to try anything. Like, let's avoid the big number. And so like identifying those situations mid round when things aren't going well, even if it's like, oh my God, this is an easy par 5, like, all right, I hit a drive and I'm a little out of position, but like I could still get a 3-wood on this and try to go for it. It's like, you're not going to do that. Like you just, you just blocked an 8-iron 20 yards right. You're going to hit a 3-wood like onto the green. No, you're not. Like put yourself in position to hit a wedge, get it on the green. And if you happen to make a putt, great. If you don't, you made par and you didn't like put bogey or double into play, like make those decisions. And that's hard to do. It's hard to have that discipline and like that humility to be like, dude, I can't get a 3-wood there, even though I feel like I should.
The only other thing I would say as an A to that Q would be like, just start a podcast whining about golf to your buddies, as that's what we do.
Yeah.
And
Hidden Greens does have one. You should check it out. Chasing Daylight. Check them out.
Yeah.
I'll put them in the show notes.
I missed that connection. Cool. Yeah. Talking through it with other people
who can tell you to shut the hell up, dude. Stop whining. Oh my God, I don't want to hear about it.
Exactly.
Nathan just has that as like he just has to like put period and like automatically just says like, dude, shut up.
The 3 dots when you're like writing a text? I just do that to Tyler, and I just kind of like leave a L in the box and just let it hang for a bit. Yeah. He knows.
Yeah.
Or you can come on this podcast and whine to us.
Oh, please do.
We will understand.
Yeah. No, please come on the podcast and whine to us.
That'd be cool.
We'll be incredible. Yeah. Oh, therapy hour. That'd be a good segment, dude. Therapy hour.
Ooh.
Write that down. Jamie, pull that up.
Who? Is that our editor?
No, it's a Joe Rogan. I don't listen. Hey,
Who?
First of all, hey, everyone, I don't watch Joe Rogan. I just want that to be said. Oh, that's good. I like that. Damn. That'd have been good. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar. Joseph Rogan?
Wait, he did Fear Factor, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's what he's mostly known for.
Yeah, that's
not steroids.
Joe Rogan, come on our podcast and whine about golf.
Yeah, dude, fight me.
Let's go. Therapy hour.
Andrew,
I'm writing it down.
Andrew D. Goodwin asked, if you could only practice or play 2 to 3 times per week, which is definitely that's like probably more like that's more aggressive than the mid-am life.
Yeah.
What would you do to improve most? And I'll just say is like, if you have a very limited amount of time to practice, like what would you do to try to get better?
Or, you see what he's doing here, right? He's taking our interview question.
That's
flipping it back on us.
Dude, that's diabolical.
It's genius.
Asshole.
I'm not going to answer this. I'm not going to answer this.
Andrew, you should be on the podcast, dude. Do you want to actually?
It's a great question.
I think Andrew should just replace me, dude. Just, hey, Andrew, let me know where to send this podcast equipment.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
I said sequence, short game, driver.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sequence, I would say, is like, so I mean, we harp on it a lot, but I still think it's like so underrated, man. If you want to just like improve what you've got, like optimize what you've already got, which is probably pretty decent. Like, dude, if you can throw a ball relatively well and it doesn't look super awkward, like you can hit a golf ball a lot better than you think you can. You have the coordination is there, like your body knows how to move.
Absolutely.
So optimizing that with like the correct sequence is going to do wonders, and you don't have to change anything about your swing. You don't have to get any stronger. You just have to swing at the right tempo. And so we say it all the time, tour tempo, best $25 that you can spend.
Absolutely.
Because not only is it going to help you with your full swing, which is great, but I use it 80% of the time that I use it is for putting and chipping. And I'll just sit in my office and I got this little like $15 laser on Amazon, and it just strikes a line on my carpet and I just roll putts. And that's all I listen to. And I roll putts and I hit chips that way. And like, just like ingraining that natural rhythm, it just makes a huge difference. Like you're not rushing, but you don't have time to manipulate. You're allowing the momentum of everything to do what it's supposed to do. Like, sequencing is far and away, if you want to improve right now and you don't necessarily want to change anything about how you're moving, like sequencing.
And we harp on it too, mostly just because there are lots of people who are way smarter than us. That's like all they harp on. So
yes. Yeah, that's not our idea, by the way.
No, not at all.
No, we adopted that one.
We are parrots.
Yeah, from people who
say what we've been told.
Studied all of the stuff and looked at all the best swings in the world and determined this is what it is. And I can tell you from personal experience, it works. So that's why we're big advocates of it. Short game, obviously chipping and putting is what's going to save you. It's what's going to score. That's how you score. And that's what's going to save you. So like, there's just no getting around it. Like you got to be able to do that and figuring out a system that works for you. Like for some people that's like, I only chip with a 7-iron. Okay. If you can do that and make it work, do it. I would suggest learning a more versatile, armory of shots, just because being able to hit higher lofted shots is helpful, but do what works and get up and down.
So if you had 2 times, get your tour tones, whatever, and one day listen to the tones while putting and chipping, the other day get a large bucket, listen to the tones while pounding driver.
I mean, it's driver, wedges, putter. Like if you just practice those things, you will get way better at golf. Like, because you'll hit 2 8-irons around. You'll hit 1 5-iron around. You will hit driver 10 times. You will hit, you'll hit your putter upwards of 40 times if you're me.
Oh gosh.
You'll hit your wedges a ton. So like, 80% or 70% of your shots are like 125 yards in. So like, like driver, wedges, putter. If that's all you did, you were going to get better. Yeah, like try to work on, your mid irons and stuff. But like, honestly, if you can hit a pretty solid, like knockdown sand wedge, you can hit mid irons, short
Yes.
irons. Like
Yes.
that's like,
Yeah.
if you can launch a sand wedge at 30 degrees, you can hit every other iron in the bag and you really don't need to practice it is my, like, I will die on that hill.
Okay.
Dramatic. Tyler, dramatic.
That was
What?
a little bit much.
What?
But, all right.
And then I will also say, like, trying to simulate pressure situations. So gamifying your practice. So like, I would say, like, maybe switch off every other week. So one week, like, do kind of more technical stuff, like, do your tones and things like that. Maybe work on a swing feel if you're working with a coach. I wouldn't try to DIY that kind of stuff personally.
Yeah.
And then the next week, like, do gamification stuff, play little games around the green, try to find people to play, like short game, practice games where you put like a lunch or a beer or something on the line, just to like, get that the randomness of that, as well as just like the pressure of it. So that'd be my other thing.
Yeah. I dig it.
Cool. Next one. James G. Henning. Can you explain how the handicap system works? No.
I can.
Huh?
Yes, you can.
I can, but just go to the USGA website and read it. And
there are videos too, I'm sure.
They'll do a lot better job than we ever could.
Yeah.
It requires you to have a pretty good understanding of astrology, but once you've gotten that down, then
just never play when Mercury is in retrograde. And you're fine. Yeah.
Oh God, that was my problem last week. Gareth Paul or Garrett H. Paul.
Okay.
What is the breakdown of a good long-term practice routine? I didn't know exactly what he meant by that. I read it as like a kind of like a consistent thing, like a thing that you can kind of keep coming back to. And I'm honestly, we kind of already answered it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Actually.
Oh no. Okay. All right. So I had a couple notes. I mean, and this is not going to give you Garrett or Garrett. This is not going to give you like specifics, but because I think a lot of it is going to be determined by you and your game and what you need. But I think it should be fundamentals should always be a piece of that. So, periodically revisiting your setup, your grip, things like that, and just making sure that they stay the same. Not even like working on them or practicing a certain thing, just like monitoring them.
Hygiene.
I said a good portion of it should be skill based, as in like you're focused on contact or ground strike point, whatever. What am I trying to say there?
Yeah, I think
where the club hits the ground. I don't know why I'm blanking on kind of not the hot, like the normal terminology, I guess, but
low point.
There we go. This is why we're friends.
Nope.
Wow.
All right. I apparently removed the clapping. Oh God, stop it. All right. So we add that to the soundboard.
Okay. That was good.
Low point.
Great job. So fundamentals, skill based, whether it's like face control or low point control or, centered contact or tempo, which I'm going to chuck into the skill category because you can get better at it if you just practice it. And then sort of like you said in the last answer is that like it has to simulate golf. If you want to get better at golf, you have to either play golf or practice something that's close to golf. So I would say those are the three pieces: fundamentals, skills, and simulates golf. So long-term practice routine is going to be kind of varied.
Mm-hmm. So it's dependent on what you need to work on, obviously. And so I think like part of developing a good long-term practice routine is like being introspective and aware of what's happening. So that's why I really like being kind of pretty into the data stuff. That's why I like to do the strokes gain stuff in the golf metrics. You don't have to get that deep into it. And it's honestly, it's probably not even that beneficial for me. But like being able to like kind of dissect down to, a 10-yard increment of like what's going well, what's not. Those are things that help you identify like, okay, like here's what's, here are things that I should probably try to work on. I would also say like, recognize how you work best. Like try to be introspective of like, how do I work best? And so for me personally, like time blocking, I have ADHD, like time blocking is super important for me. So I need to know that like, all right, for the next 10 minutes, I'm doing this. And then for 15 minutes, I'm doing this. And then for 10 minutes, I'm doing this. And I'm taking a 5-minute break. And then like, boom, 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 boom. And I have it all mapped out. And I have like, if there are like metrics that I want to try to record, if I'm playing like a little 9-hole chipping game, like I like to record that so I can see like what progress I'm making. That works really well for me. That might not work. That rigidity might not work for someone else. So figure out how you work best, what like leaves you feeling challenged at the end of the practice session. Cause that's for me, the most important. And I've heard this from other people too, is like, you really shouldn't leave a practice. And maybe this isn't the best way to say it, but this is how I view it. It's like, you shouldn't really leave a practice session like really like satisfied. You should be like, you should have been challenged. You should be a little tired. You should maybe even be a little bit frustrated because you like pushed yourself to be as uncomfortable as possible. Right. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Interesting.
not every time you go out and, push yourself to the limit, because that's exhausting and that's not very fun. But like, I would say most of the time, you should try to leave your practice sessions like a little bit just kind of very it should be a taxing thing, because like you should practice harder than you play. You're supposed to practice like your life depends on it and play like it doesn't matter. And a way to do that is like make practice way harder than it could be on the course. And I think like if you approach it that way, it like you're gonna get better, obviously. And then on the day when you actually are playing, like you're gonna have a lot more just kind of straightforward chips. You're not gonna be in a hole. You're not gonna be behind a tree. You're not gonna have to flop it, super, super high or whatever. And I think that like that is another good way to like get the most out of your practice, and maintain progress, because I think a lot of us, get stuck in this, you go to the range, you hit like 85 7-irons, and then like, you're like, oh, why am I not getting any better? I go to the range 3 times a week and I hit 85 7-irons. It's like, well, I can tell you why, because you're stagnant. You're not doing anything differently. You're not pushing yourself to be better.
And like kind of the opposite side of that coin was something I was going to say. It was like practice less, honestly. Like I think people should never buy more than a small bucket. If you can't put in, I would say, appropriate levels of time and attention to more than 30 balls, especially if you're taking like practice swings and working on like, something intentional, like swing changes or whatnot. Like the body responds best in motor learning to more frequent, smaller instances.
Yeah.
So don't go out there and hit 70 balls. That does you no good after ball 20.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think like to your point earlier too, about like, try to make it like practice, like you're playing, like, like make it about golf. Like, are you hitting 80 shots on a golf course, full swings? No, never.
Not unless you're
You're
shooting
never
120.
doing that. Yeah. You're never doing that. And when people shooting 120 don't listen to this podcast.
And even that too.
Only sticks.
And even that, they're not full swings. They're probably taking 70 shots that are inside of 70 yards.
Exactly.
If you're shooting 120-ish. So like nobody takes 80 full cuts at a golf ball. Don't do that. Stop your practice sooner. Usually is probably what I would say. And it's like you can practice. We talked about golf snacks like back in the winter, of just like,
and I still do that,
little chunks, but frequently. You're going to see bigger gains than if you try and go hard.
Focusing and then focusing on, going back to what you're saying, like focusing on the skill part of it too. Like
Sure.
That is, I think, like Adam Young preaches this in a big way. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, myself included, get really tied into like mechanics and trying to get the thing to work, look the certain way and get into certain positions. But it's like at the end of the day, like club face on ball, path and face direction. Like
Yeah.
that's what determines what's going to happen. It's like we're athletes, man. Like we're supposed to be
Yeah.
athletic. You know what? Like the perfect swing looks awesome when you're on a flat driving range. How often do you have a flat lie other than the tee box? And in some cases,
Not even
persimmon, cough,
then.
cough, not even then. Um,
It just get like darker. It's like shady in here now. It's weird.
it's like raining indoors.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like the skill stuff, like intentionally try to hit it on the toe, intentionally try to hit it on the heel, intentionally try to top it, intentionally, try to hit an 8-iron as high as you possibly can. Try to
Yeah.
hit a sand wedge as low as you possibly can. Like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff is going to make you a better player because that's golf.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of coaches, not just Adam, but he's definitely big onto it. Oh, that goes back to our guy who's topping it. Try and swing and miss the ball, like swing over it, right? And then swing a little bit lower and just try and clip the very top. Then try and swing a little bit lower and get, 3 grooves on it. Then try and swing a little bit lower. So you're starting to train yourself, or even do kind of like leapfrogging back and forth. Swing over the top of it and miss. Then hit the ground, and create this spectrum for your body, for your nervous system, your awareness to say, okay, I know this was too high. I know this was too low. So something in between is where I need to work to. So it's skill.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that.
Yeah, that's why like Lee Trevino had the swing that he had and was an unbelievable player. Like it's not picture perfect, but like the dude knew how to put the club on the ball, and that's all that really matters. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I would say like get away from thinking mechanically, definitely practice way less.
But
And
practice
like,
hard.
yeah, like very intentionally, like density
Yeah.
is way more important
Yeah.
than like volume or
Yeah.
whatever.
You
It's
ever eat
like,
a power bar?
yeah,
It's gonna
that's
be
right.
like that.
It's not popcorn,
Just
dude. We're not
no.
talking about popcorn. We're
Just
talking
like
about freaking hardtack.
it's thick, and you kind of hurt your jaw afterward.
Yeah, exactly.
That could go a whole. Never mind. Um,
This is
what's the next
a
question? What was
family
the next
show,
question?
Nathan.
What is the next question?
um. Oh, Garrett asked again. How do you balance playing golf versus practice? I
Garrett,
think we
you
kind
get
of already
one.
answered that. We kind of already answered that. Is like practice way less, man. Like get like playing is your best practice. And I'll go back. I'll go back and say like, when we were talking with Drew Cooper
Yeah.
about mobility stuff, he goes, dude, like squatting to full depth with with load, like that's mobility training, dude. Like you don't
Mhm.
have to do special mobility stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna get you pretty damn mobile if you've got 185 or 225 pounds on your back and you're squatting to full depth. Like,
Yeah.
guess what? Like your body is like pretty freaking stretched out.
Yeah.
So like getting on the course, that's probably the best place that you can
Yeah.
practice.
Vision 54. You want to practice golf? Play golf.
Yes.
So you want to practice checkers? You don't go out there and like practice your technique of picking up one black piece and putting it down,
right. You just
a
go,
square over.
you just play checkers.
Play chess or
Yeah.
checkers, whatever you're playing.
Don't play chess.
No, don't do that.
Like, yeah, just like de-emphasize practice. Practice is really not that important. It is, but it isn't.
Here's maybe a different way to go. This is how I thought to answer this question, to A this Q when I first read it. And it's not a direct A. I would say I would just play. Like I thought about like what would be my ideal if money were no object, if I had schedule were no object, what would be my ideal, method to getting better at golf? I think I would have a really good warm up that hits all of my like fundamental things so that every day or every time I'm warming up, I'm calibrating and making sure I set up the same for putting, driver, irons, whatever, what have you. And then I would just play like every day, 4 days a week, whatever, 5 days a week. And then I would take a lesson every week, because the lesson then would be the dense nugget of like, someone is working with me and we're being really intentional and they're going to keep me in check and we're going to do a little bit of this and then I'm just going to play the rest of the week. Like that, I feel like that would be my like ideal thing of like, I'll do a good half hour warm up and play. And then once a week or every other week, whatever, take a lesson.
Yeah, I guess
and that would be my practice.
Yeah, I guess the way that I would answer this then for someone who can't do that, which is all of us, unfortunately.
Yeah, no one can do that. But.
Do not ever do not ever choose practice over play. If you have the opportunity to play, go play.
Yeah.
If you don't have the opportunity to play, but you do have time, practice is great. But try to emphasize the play aspect of practice, the gamification of practice, like as much as possible. And then, like a very small chunk of it should be should be like the mechanic stuff and move, in like motor pattern changes if that's what you need to do.
Sure.
But like play if you can play. If you can't play, practice, but random practice, gamification, all that stuff. And then, work your way down to like doing drill, like position-based drills or whatever.
Yeah. And I don't want to alienate people who just like enjoy going to the range and whacking golf balls or enjoy going and chipping and putting and stuff like that. But what I would say to you is you should probably frame it differently in your head. You're not going to practice at that point. You're going
to exercise,
enjoyment and exercise. Because I do that. There are days where I'm like, I'm gonna go to the range
and just
this is not practice.
Some golf balls.
Like, I just want to hit balls and just zone out and just listen to music. I'm not working on anything. I'm just
moving. You're just you're outside. You're moving. You're not thinking about anything.
That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. By all means, go do that. Just don't think of it as like, oh man, I've spent so much time practicing and I'm not getting better. That's not practice.
That's not practice. Yeah. No, that's exercise.
Yeah.
All right. Last one here. What's your least favorite? With a U favorite. So he's either Canadian or British.
Why do you say it like that?
Yeah. I immediately out of my mouth, like, God, that sounds terrible. I didn't mean like that. I'm sorry.
Or British.
That's not what I meant at all. I hope you understand that. That's just me. That's whiny Tyler. That's on brand.
Whiny Tyler.
Whiny, pessimistic, dark cloud Tyler. KBS Golf or KSB Golf, not KB. Whoa, that'd be crazy if it was a Golf Shack company and I just freaking flamed them. That would be hilarious. It'd be so funny. KSB Golf. Apologies. What's your favorite club in the bag? Indubitably. And why? What's your least favorite club in the bag?
Least favorite and why? You know what? I have a really hard time with this question because I have never thought of like
it changes every day. What?
Well, I've never thought of golf clubs like this. Like I remember growing up and playing with like other buddies when we were beginners or something, and they were like, "Oh man, I can hit like my 8 really good, and I can hit my 6 good, but like man, the 5 just kills me." I'm like, I've never thought of golf clubs this way. I've always just been like, no, like they're like the same. They're just clubs.
It's just a little longer and like it's a little more like it's a little flatter.
I don't have a club that's a nemesis. No, I guess that's not true. I suck with the driver, but I love my driver.
Yeah,
just because it's a cool looking golf club and it's nice.
I'm great with it.
It's fine.
No, it's funny you say that because I don't know why, but I have a very, very vivid memory of like one of this big break season from like 2016 or 2006, maybe
formative years.
2006 or 2007.
Yeah.
I was in high school. Maybe even earlier. Maybe it was like 2005. But there was one player, these people are supposed to be professional golfers, right? There's one gal, she like played with her shoes off all the time. She was weird. I remember her being like short and blonde with short blonde hair. And she would like play with the shoes off, but she would be like, oh, I'm having issues with my 6-iron. Just can't hit my 6-iron. I'm like, you're supposed to be a professional. What do you mean you're having trouble with your 6-iron? It is marginally different than your 7-iron and
Then
marginally
choke up
different than
and
your
hit your 5 or
5-iron. Like,
pro.
I don't
Like,
I've never understood, like, oh yeah,
I
dude,
don't.
just I
Oh,
flush everything, just can't hit my damn 5-iron. It's like, what do you
doggone
mean
it,
you can't hit your 5-iron?
Yeah, I know. I don't
What does that
understand.
mean? I don't
I
understand that.
don't.
But
Yeah,
that's mental, dude. Like, you need to see a
yeah.
shrink. You don't need a hybrid. You need to see a shrink.
So KSB or KBS,
No, KSB. It's
either
not
one of you.
KBS. Yeah,
Either one.
but
Well, you
both.
know what? I'm talking now to both of you.
Okay. KBS, if you're listening,
I
don't be
love.
British. I swear to
I
God.
I I do not discriminate. I love all
That's
of my golf
brave.
clubs the
That's
same.
brave. That's so progressive.
That's right.
Uh, yeah,
Portland.
I have a love-hate relationship with putters in general. Like, I just
Mm,
have always struggled to putt with putting. Not even going to say I'm over the hurdle because I have no idea. I am putting better than I was last year by about a stroke and a half on
mm,
average per round. So that's nice. But yeah, it's just something I've always, it's just been a point of frustration for me forever. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that eventually that's like, I don't even want to be a great putter. I just want to be like, I want it to be not memorable. Like, I don't want to have rounds where it's just
Just
like, dude, I putted so poorly.
do I need to come up
Um,
and fix your putting now too?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay,
so. Um, I think I'll figure it out.
you'll get
But
there. I
yeah,
don't think I do either, but
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
yeah,
Uh, yeah. So I would say if I had to pick one club, it's pretty much like the putter is where I
yeah.
mean, I
And it
want to
doesn't
be
matter.
good
It doesn't matter
putter.
which putter. Just
No, it does.
just
It's
all
just the
putters.
putter, dude.
the
The any club with like 1 to 3 degrees of loft struggle with
mhm.
it, man. But I'm getting better. I am improving, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of it's just like mental because at a certain point, like it is like there's just not enough. There's really not a lot of technique with putting. I mean, like there is, but it's
No,
like,
there's
dude, you
not.
just get the ball to the
No,
hole,
there's not.
figure out a way to do it. So yeah, I would say that's mine,
Cool.
and
Yeah.
hopefully for not much longer. Then I can love all of my clubs equally. Not have
Hmm.
a redheaded stepchild, British redheaded or Canadian
Or
redheaded stepchild.
Canadian. Australian? Do they do that at all?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, no,
Some of
Australians
that?
are cool though. They're dope.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
fine. They get a pass.
Favorite.
They get a pass. No,
No, you
they put
fight
you
your least favorite golf.
favorite golfer. No. All right, cool. Well, those were all the Q's, and we gave some A's. So
That is right.
we appreciate you hanging out. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate the podcast. Please make sure you're subscribed. Please leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. On Spotify, on Apple, or wherever else you listen. We're also on YouTube. Speaking of which, I think I need to
We
upload
need to
last week.
upload some.
I
Yeah.
need just last week's, and this week, obviously.
Mhm.
Don't forget about our birdie-a-thon. I managed to check off 2 birds today. Tweet, tweet.
Oh, cool.
I
I'll
didn't text you
add
about
that.
those.
That's
I
fine.
gotta, yeah.
I got it.
And yeah, so that's to benefit Oregon Junior Golf. So be sure to check that out. I'll put the link in the bio. We're doing pretty good. And I think we'll probably throw out some auction items kind of towards the end of the season as things start to slow down
Mhm.
from a golf perspective. You can find us on Instagram at Mid-Am Podcast. You can find me personally at Fade and Fairway. Speaking of,
Did he get the Tyler Golfs?
no,
And
but
oh,
no, even better.
oh no.
I can get it. It's
Oh,
going to cost me $500, and I have to go through some like dark web shit. Like,
what?
yes, like I have to. So someone reached out to me saying, I can get you that. We can get you that. It's going to cost you $500. I was like, what do you like? The kid wants $500. He said, no. He's
No,
like,
no.
get on like some app, like it's like
Oh,
Discord or one of
yeah,
those.
sure. One of those ones.
Like get on this app and then say like this code name person sent you, or else they won't talk to you. Say this code name
What in the
sent you.
world?
Yeah, you're gonna have
Is
to
this how
send
to
it as
hire a hit? What are you doing?
kind of. They're like you're gonna have to send it as crypto. Yeah, And like they're like they will get you that. Like he goes, no, like no joke, like they will get it for you. I was like,
Wow.
that is insane. I'm not doing that because I don't, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be part of some
That's
sting
wild.
operation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, the kid did not get it. I doubt the kid even knows because he made the account in 2011, has literally never posted anything, doesn't follow anyone. So, but I can get it if I
I'm
want it.
sure
If I'm
he's a
willing to
listen.
pay, if I'm
Tyler.
Tyler, if I'm
Tyler
willing to pay
Golf.
$500 and go through the Silk Road, I can get that. I can get that name. But for now, it's
Yeah.
at Fade and Fairway. You can find Nathan at nathan.furumasu and at Thistle Leather Goods. I think that's it.
All right.
Until next week, we'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.